Welcome to the session dedicated to seamless solutions, so say in other words, around the solutions. So this is the opportunity to learn about our partnerships and their benefits for CAE Transvalor software. So let's first of all welcome Mr. Kentaro Fukuta, General Manager coming from Japan, from company Elysium, and Stefan Andretti, Marketing and Communication Directors in Transvalor, for the presentation Seamless Workflow with CADdoctor Transvalor Edition.
Okay, thank you, Laetitia, for this introduction. So yes, I'm here today with Kentaro, and this is a great opportunity, as mentioned by Laetitia, to introduce the strong partnership which has been recently established between our two companies, and also to a good opportunity to present the benefits of this new product, CADdoctor Transvalor Edition. This is the agenda of our presentation. So first of all, I will give a brief introduction, just to remind about the place of process modeling within the classical product development cycle. Then I will pass on, Kentaro will introduce the Elysium company and the CADdoctor product. And also he will give a special focus on the custom edition for Transvalor. And then I will move to use case in order to demonstrate the benefits of the version on a use case oriented for the forging industry. And so finally, we will go to our conclusions. So first of all, let me give you a few words of introduction. If we look at a standard product development cycle from the customer request and down to the final production, process design has clearly today a much stronger position in this cycle compared to what it was in the past. And this is some of the message that we have seen yesterday. It will become more and more something like a compulsory stage within this complete cycle. And yesterday, if I refer to the presentation from Alcorta, we can clearly see that process simulation is fully integrated into the design chain. So whatever the process is, virtual manufacturing definitely becomes a new lever of competitiveness for the manufacturing industry. But in that context, tooling designers and engineering staff expect the easiest and the most effective way to ensure data communication between the two worlds, the CAD and the computer-aided engineering. And this is where CADdoctor takes place. So this slide illustrates just a few words about where the pains are, in fact. And I will refer in this slide to a recent report established last year by the US Institute Tech Clarity, where it appears that pre-processing is one of the bottlenecks related to CAE analysis. And more precisely, they are stating that up to 38% of the overall simulation time is taken by pre-processing tasks. And among pre-processing, cleaning up geometries is one of the top challenges. So, in very simple words, I would say that anything that we could do in order to either accelerate or ease pre-processing will be beneficial for all of you, for any engineering people. And once again, this is what CADdoctor is all about. So now I will give the floor to Kentaro for the next part of the presentation.
Okay, thank you so much for your great introduction, Stefan. So my name is Kentaro Fukuta, coming from Elysium, Japan. So first of all, let me introduce our company briefly and what is CADdoctor. So we are based in Japan. The global headquarters is located in Japan, Hamamatsu City. Does anybody knows the name of the Hamamatsu? No, nobody knows. Okay, well, the headquarters of, for example, Suzuki Motors or Yamaha and also Kawaii music instruments and so on. Those kind of companies are located in our city. And also the Toyota Motors, they are located almost west, to go to west, I think 70 or 80 kilometers west. Then the Toyota is located. So we are really located in manufacturing city. And we also have subsidiaries in US, and also we have subsidiaries one is in Paris, right? So one of the French guys is working on it and doing the local support and sales. And we have just started the Germany office since this January to support the most likely Germany automotive OEMs and suppliers. And we have almost 100 employees globally, right? And one of the points which I would like to mention is 55 R&D engineers, 14 technical consultants and sales. That means we are really technical-oriented company. Almost all the 99% of the employees have a technical background. So we have really technical-oriented company. And the next slide is the product lineup of what Elysium has. But before explaining the detail of the product lineup, let me introduce you what is our mission. So Elysium is, we are saying Elysium are the provider of 3D data interoperability. So interoperability means, okay, if there is this 3D data, then by using our technology, you can connect everywhere else from CAD, CAE, CAD, CAM, or CAD, or digital mockup, and so on. So that is our mission, right? And these are the product lineup which we have. And one of the major products is CADdoctor. This is the focus of today's presentation. And also we have a variety of lineup. For example, Asphalis. This is a command line-based solution, which can be embedded into, for example, supplier and OEM data exchange system, or if you have a PDM, then you can integrate that into PDM, that kind of things. And also, one of the interesting thing is InfiPoints. That is, it's really coming from different fields. You can scan for example, factories or building or plant and import that kind of huge point cloud data into that software. So we are providing this kind of software, and today's focus is CADdoctor. Okay, so this is the functionalities which is included in CADdoctor. One of the things is translation, so you can import a variety of mechanical CAD format like CATIA, ProE, JD, or whatever. And next one is validation. Validation means, for example, check the 3D data quality, right? For example, if there are some missing faces or gaps between for example, between surface and curves and so on, those kind of things. And also one of the key technology which we are right now focusing on is to compare the two different geometries to detect, for example, engineering change. That is also included in the validation. And healing, this is also the one of the most important factor to make the smooth data transaction between CAD and CAE, right? To repair the data, to get a high quality data. And simplification, that is most likely the featuring, right? And that is also included useful for CAE. And solid envelope, that is to reduce the data size, right? So these kind of capabilities are included. So next slide. So what is the reason why we have the partnership with Transvalor, right? So this is because we are sharing the same pillars, and because of this partnership, right, then we can meet lots of mutual benefits for the Transvalor customers. So for example, access to the best-in-class solutions. So Transvalor and Elysium, both of the companies has best-in-class solutions, and you can get the interoperability between CAD software and Transvalor simulation softwares, and you can reduce the really time-consuming times for the preparation for the CAE data. You can remove, for example, many back and forth work between CAD and CAE, and you can get the multi-CAD access by using the CADdoctor. So I really believe we can provide a really big benefit for Transvalor customers by this partnership. Okay, next. Yeah. So next is the CADdoctor Transvalor Edition. So let me explain what is the CADdoctor Transvalor Edition. So this slide introduces the CADdoctor Transvalor Edition. right? CADdoctor Transvalor Edition is a kind of custom edition or tailored version of Elysium CADdoctor for the Transvalor customers. It is only available for the Transvalor customers. And we are providing, for example, data importing capability and healing optimization means defeaturing, right, or simplification. It's not a standard meaning of CAE optimization, actually. And export the high-quality geometry for the Transvalor software. So I will show you in the next slides the range of the capabilities offered by CADdoctor Transvalor Edition. So these are the lineups of the functionality which is included in the Transvalor edition of CADdoctor. You can import the MultiCAD native format from CATIA V5, Creo Parametric, and NX, Parasolid, Step, and IGS. These kind of neutral format can be also imported. All STL, the meshing data, can be also imported. And the next one is geometry repairing, check and repair geometry or topology issue. This is really important to prevent the failures in data import so that you can reduce the really many troublesome back and forth work between CAD and CAE. And final one is geometry simplification. This is the defeaturing of the, for example, tiny fillets or holes and so on, or you can reduce the data size, for example. This is, in some cases, really useful for the smooth transition to CAE so that you can get a high-quality mesh and high-quality results by the CAE analysis. This is the example of the new CAD format which can be imported into Transvalor CADdoctor. You can see you can import a variety of type of the formats, right? And for example, this is the example when we import the Siemens NX data into CADdoctor Transvalor Edition, or this is the data coming from Creo Parametric, or this is the data coming from CATIA V5, right? And after the execution or operation in CADdoctor, you can export the data to Transvalor software like Forge, right? And you can export two types of the format. One is the polygon-based, that means mesh-based format, which can be imported into the Transvalor software. And another one is SolidX, that is CAD model-based, so boundary representation model, right? Which has the CAD surface and so on. And you can import that also to the Transvalor software as well. Okay, so let me switch the presenter again to Stefan to introduce you the use cases.
Thank you, Kentaro. So yes, we're going to move to the now the use case. Try to illustrate more precisely how we can operate the software. And so this is an example, as I mentioned before, related to the forging industry. This is the lower die for a blocker stage for a crankshaft. As we can see here briefly, this geometry is presenting lots of defects, lots of errors. And in this example, I've chosen to import, first of all, a step file, but I could have done the same thing with a native format, obviously. So let's have a look. How does that work? So in this animation, as you can see, first of all, you can import the step file. That's very basic. Then once the model is loaded, here it comes. Then we have a possibility to define some settings. So we have some dedicated file in order to fit the application CADdoctor in corresponding to what we expect for our software. And after that, we can start the first sequence of operation, which is the check all. So during that step, the CADdoctor will detect every potential errors into the onto the modeling, onto the CAD file, and will output right here the different kind of errors from the critical ones down to the serious or the minus one. And so, yes, that's the list of the different kinds of errors. The second step is after this first initial checking sequence, then we will go through the auto heal and then the auto stitch stages. So let me start this animation. So first of all, we go through the auto heal. So here, once again, the system will automatically detect the kind of errors, and based on something where Kantaro could detail more precisely how does that work. But basically, the application cleans every surface where we have previously detected some defects. And once this is finished, that's it. So the auto heal has been performed. You can see that we don't have any longer any critical errors. And then for some types of error, like for example, right here, the free edges, we can run the auto stitch. And in that case, there's another sequence of operation to stitch together any kind of surfaces. So at the end of that procedure, that's it, we get to another list of errors. This example is fully realistic. I could have presented a simpler model where after auto heal and auto stitch, everything could have been cleaned up and repaired. But to be honest with you, that's not exactly real life. So this is why we can go after that. So, excuse me, first of all, that's important. This is to represent how powerful is these two auto heal and auto stitch commands. You can see that after auto healing, we have no more critical errors, so we had a 100% cleaning rate for these kind of errors, and a very high percentage also of cleaning rate for the serious errors. And after performing auto stitch, so almost 24% of the errors have been automatically repaired. So what I was about to say is that we may need to do some manual corrections or step-by-step correction to finalize the complete cleanup of the geometry. And this is where the product gives the possibility to have a very complete and extensive toolbox where, depending on the kind of error, like for example here, large edge phase gap, you have different options to find a solution and to get to a repaired surface. So that's the case for this kind of error. And this is also the case for the loop of free edges, so another typical type of error. You can choose here in the repair tool list the one which will effectively clean up the geometry. So after completing all of that, and it took, and this is the real time that we spent, after approximately 20 minutes, we get to a 100% clean model without any kind of errors. And so this is where takes the final sequence, where we will export the file and choose the two formats mentioned before, the PolyX or the SolidX. Once we reach that point, then we can move to Forge. We can move to Transvalor software. And this is where we can import the file coming from CADdoctor. And this is what we can see right here. So this is after importing the file from CADdoctor. And then we can run our usual surface mesh, so typically to get something more uniform. And then we can go through checking for faults and for holes. And here the system is showing that there is no faults and there is no holes into this geometry. So the geometry has been perfectly cleaned by the system. We can even move a little bit further. Some of you are performing deformable dies calculation. So in that case, you need to remesh as a solid the die. So we can use the conversion from rigid to deformable, and then go through the step for performing the volumic mesh. And we get to this time a solid mesh for the die. And those of you who are familiar with that, when we are checking for the volume quality, so we need to make sure that the minimum quality is positive. That means that we have a good quality of element. And this is the case in this situation. So we have been able to clean up completely the geometry to produce a surface mesh without any folds, without any holes, and then to go further for a volumic mesh for this tooling with a good quality. I try to summarize on a timeline what happened in this use case, and try to highlight the benefits of that product. If we go down to all the different steps we went through, from the import to the auto-healing, repairing, and then the export, we can see that, yes, we spent approximately 20 minutes in CADdoctor to complete the repair operation. And then that was very quick down to surface meshing and volume meshing. At this point of time, we had a model completely ready for rigid die or deformable die simulation. If I had to do the same thing without CADdoctor, obviously I was able to import a step file. But I had to spend within only Forge environment and the tools that we have in hands to try to repair the geometry. And we tried to do that. I tried to do that. And I spent more than an hour, and I could not complete the job. And I could not complete the job to clean the surface. That means that doing the volume meshing was just impossible. So this is really to illustrate that with or without CADdoctor Transvalor Edition, you're not leading to the same final point. So there's really a great value for that. Well, let's move now to our conclusions. So first point is to say that CADdoctor Transvalor Edition, this is fully embedded into the DVD, into the distribution of the software. So those of you who are familiar with the installation launcher, you will find the CADdoctor Transvalor Edition. So you can install that. Okay. But this product is subject to a license. So it's a separate package to Forge. Okay, so you need to get in contact with your sales representative in order to get the information about the license. We can go through annual licenses or permanent license. There are different options depending on the reader of the native format that you want to be able to access. We've been talking about Siemens, we've been talking about Creo Parametric, and NX as well. So the license depends on the reader for the CAD format. The level 1 support will be ensured by Transvalor staff with the support of Elysium technical people. And obviously this product will be available on worldwide basis. So it's not restricted to some countries. We are ready to provide the solution from whichever country you are. And now we'll give the final word to Kentaro.
Yep. So finally, this is a summary of a presentation. I think Stefan almost mentioned all the important points, but finally, let me summarize all the major benefits just in case. So by using CADdoctor and the Transvalor combination, you can manage the native CAD format to provide the reliable geometry and topology. And you can avoid really loss of the data to format translation. For example, you can avoid the missing, faces, or tiny curves, and so on, that kind of things. And you can access to powerful functionalities for simplify and repairing workflows. And you can shorten the preparation time for the data preparation for CAE. I think you guys do not want to spend too much time for the preparation itself because your actual job is to do the CAE analysis. So you can reduce that kind of bothersome work. And you can improve the mesh quality and greater simulation results you can get that. And availability, now that is really fully integrated and compatible with Forge products and cold form products. And yeah, it should be in really near future, I think, it should be expanded to the other Transvalor software products as well. So thank you so much for your attention.
First of all, thank you for such a great presentation. And my question is, could it be possible to just test the license for free in some weeks or months?
I think the answer is yes.
It can be 1 year, but it can be, you know, for the evaluation purpose.
Where's the, yeah, we need the,
microphone.
yeah, okay.
We will contact you.
Yeah, so we will have some possibility for trial license for a given period of time. This is something that we need to define the period. This information will be available with our salespeople and you know Christine exactly. So this is the kind of of option that we will offer to our customer in order to make your own experience.
And the operating mode will be the same as another software license. In fact, you will contact the support and we will provide with the test license for this product. Yeah.
Another.
Thank you for the nice presentation. I wanted to know what you mean with simplification. Is it also possible to, for example, deactivate all small radius, like less than 1 millimeters radius? Could that be possible?
Yeah, you can set up the threshold for the fillets. For example, if you would like to defeature the features within 1 millimeters, then you can set up that 1 millimeters. Or if you would like to remove the features between 1 millimeters and 5 millimeters, for example, you can set that kind of parameters as well.
Yeah, maybe in addition, I could say that during the demo, there was a step where I said that we can load and setting files. In this file, which is there, I mean, I'm talking under your control, okay? Yeah. But within this file, you can decide to activate or deactivate some options, some checkings, and you can also define the tolerances that you want. So you can really customize the way the application will treat your geometry, because obviously depending on the model size, depending on the CAD used, these criteria, tolerance for instance, may be different. Am I right?
Yes, you're right, correct. Okay. You know well.
Okay, thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, keep it.
Hello, thank you for a very nice presentation. I wonder, is it possible also, because sometimes they scanned in the tools with the 3D scanning and get the point cloud. Is it possible also to do the same thing with the point cloud?
Yeah, that is a good question. Well, the answer is yes and no, because, well, we can do it in our standard version of CADdoctor. Right now we have the capability to import the point cloud data coming from the, for example, scan the automotive parts, for example, and making that into the STL, for example, or making the surface data of the CAD. That is possible. But unfortunately, at this moment, that functionality is not included in the CADdoctor Transvalor Edition right now.
Oh.
Yeah, can you tell me what is the purpose? Because yeah, I think that is good suggestion right in the future, I guess. Because right now we are focusing on really the necessary functionality, which we think that is necessary for the Transvalor software. So if you have any purpose or request to have such capability also CADdoctor for Transvalor Edition, then I think that kind of opinion is really helpful for us to understand the requirement.